if a thing has advantages, it definitely it has certain disadvantages. It's a very old saying, and folks, I think this is the right time to remember that and to make sure that we are in the right track with Chat GPT thing. So, what are the problems with ChatGPT? See, folks, if anything has an advantage, like the internet or maybe blockchain or cryptos, Bitcoin, whatever you call that, if it has advantages, it has disadvantages as well. For example, I'll give you a really simple example. If you look at a very common stock that has made some people, like maybe a lot of people, a lot of money recently, which is Tesla, ticker TSLA. Now, this stock at its highest peak was at somewhat $800, $900, somewhat around somewhat around like that. So if you bought it at like maybe 300 something and you sold it at maybe even at 600, 700, you actually probably doubled up your money within maybe certainly a year or two. I'm talking about from 2020 March to November of 2021. But the problem is the same weapon or the sharpness of a sword that can hurt your enemies, that same sharpness can hurt you as well if you're on the or if you're on the taking side, or if you're on the other side. For this, so the same thing, when the stock fell, it fell from 800. Maybe if you bought it at 700 and you thought it's going to go to 1,000, and it fell from 700 and now it's trading at $208 as of this evening. So it took a really nosedive. So you lost, and a lot of people lost, obviously, because that is how the market works. So if something has advantages, it has disadvantages as well. And the same goes for ChatGPT as for any other human being, any other commodity, any other thing, living, non-living, animate, non-animate, goes for the same. So what are the problems with ChatGPT? Now, folks, the problem is that if I, as a human being, and as your teacher, as your instructor, try to give you a bunch of list of problems, that this is the problem, this is the problem, that will be my perspective, okay? That will be my perspective regarding ChatGPT. But I want to hear ChatGPT's perspective regarding ChatGPT and the problems with it. So let's dive into that one. Here we have ChatGPT, and I'm going to type it list ChatGPT. So, folks, here I've put in list 5 major problems of ChatGPT. Now, folks, the reason why I want this course to be innovative and super easy for you all, so that you can actually use it at as you like it, and not it shouldn't be like I am putting my perspective onto you and I'm putting it down your throat. No, no, no. It should be your own perspective and just my hints and ideas working together in a good fashion. So here we have got the answer from ChatGPT, and and as always, I'm going to give my gratitude to ChatGPT once we complete this lecture. So it answered me this way: as an AI language model, ChatGPT does not have problems, and it's in inverted commas, in the way that a human might. However, here are some limitations or challenges that ChatGPT may face in certain contexts. Again, a very well designed answer. Number one, bias. As I've said, folks, as I've said in my lectures over and over and over and over and over again, ChatGPT and maybe any other AI is biased. Why? Because it's programmed by developers. Who are developers? Developers are human beings. Now, what does biasness and human beings have in common? Every human being is biased in some way or the other, whether you like it or you hate it. That's the bottom line. So it's biased. Like any other language, ChatGPT is susceptible to biases in the data, and it was trained on. This can lead to biased or discriminatory responses to certain types of inputs, which is common. Fine, at least it's honest. The second one is inaccuracy. Now, folks, this is a very big disadvantage. I'm telling you, this is such a big disadvantage. Once it actually said that Elon Musk has died like a decade ago. I'm not joking. I'm telling you, this has happened. ChatGPT may produce inaccurate or incorrect responses to input, especially if it encounters unfamiliar or ambiguous language. Yeah, that's the problem. Because it's been programmed in English, folks. So if you put in French, Latino, Mexican, like Japanese, Chinese, and Mandarin kind of a thing, it's gonna have problems, because I've tried on that one and I've seen problems are there. Yeah, it'll try to actually bring the essence of English to that language, which actually spoils the entire context, because every language has its own kind of a feel and perspective and nature. The third one is lack of empathy. ChatGPT does not have emotional subjective experience, so it cannot provide emotional support or connection in the way that a human can. Obviously, folks, And folks, ChatGPT is actually very wrong. It's like unapologetically wrong. It'll be like you have not seen actually the way it sometimes ChatGPT behaves. It's like it is wrong, and at the same time, it's like the response is something like, "Fine, I'm wrong. I don't care." Like it's not going to say I don't care. It's going to say, "Fine, I'm wrong. It's okay. You may be right." Somewhat like that. It's frank, but can sometimes press a little buttons. Fine. Limited understanding of the context. Yeah, sometimes ChatGPT may not be able to understand what the input you want. It will create a complete nonsense of the answer. The fourth one is inability to reason beyond its training data. ChatGPT is limited to the patterns and knowledge present in its training data and cannot reason beyond the scope. This can lead to responses that seem nonsensical and or incomplete in certain context. Correct. So, folks, these were the five big disadvantages of ChatGPT according to ChatGPT, not according to Mr. Manas, according to ChatGPT. Biasness, inaccuracy, lack of empathy because it's not a human, limited understanding of context, and inability to reason beyond its training data. That was it from this one. I'll see you on the other side.